Welcome to our briefing on Vietnam's innovation landscape. In the first half of December 2025, we're seeing something really interesting happen. The ecosystem isn't just growing anymore, it's strategically maturing. So we're going to break down the key moves in startups, industry, and policy that are really defining this next chapter.
So how do all these pieces fit together? Well, here's how we'll tackle it. We'll start with a 30,000-foot view, the big picture. Then we'll zoom right in on the ambitious startups and the industry giants making serious waves. And finally, we'll look at the government policies that are basically paving the runway for what's coming next. All right, let's dive in.
So, what's the single biggest takeaway from this period? It's this. The story has totally shifted from just simple growth to something more like strategic maturation. You can see a clear evolution happening across the entire innovation ecosystem. It's getting smarter, more connected, and more ambitious.
So what's really driving this change? It pretty much comes down to three forces that are all interconnected. First, we're seeing way more sophisticated global partnerships take shape. Second, there's a very deliberate push up the value chain in manufacturing. And third, the government is actively stepping in to shape a more supportive, pro-innovation environment.
Okay, let's see this in action. Starting with the startup scene, we're going to look at two companies that honestly perfectly illustrate this trend of rising global ambition.
First up, we've got BioWraps. Now, this company is a fantastic example of the circular economy in action. You know, that whole idea of turning waste into a brand new resource. They're literally taking agricultural byproducts, think things like orange peels, and transforming them into biodegradable packaging.
And they're getting noticed. Fresh off a top 10 award in Hong Kong, BioWraps is now looking to raise $1.6 million to scale up. And get this isn't just some startup with a cool idea. They already have serious international validation, exporting to 11 countries. This funding, it's all about meeting proven global demand.
Now let's switch gears to the digital space. This chart might look like it's just about the ride-hailing market, but what you're really looking at is the battleground for Vietnam's super apps. You know, those single apps that do everything from rides to payments. Now, I want you to look at B Group here. Even with that intense competition, they are making some incredibly bold moves. And this timeline really shows their deliberate path forward. They've secured major loans and are now aiming for a 2028 IPO. And that signals two massive things. First, a ton of confidence in their own business. And maybe more importantly, a strong belief that Vietnam's capital markets are finally mature enough to handle a major tech listing. That right there is a huge milestone.
All right, next up, let's look at how the big industry players are deepening Vietnam's role in the global supply chain. We're talking about a shift beyond simple assembly into much higher value, more complex manufacturing.
An investment of this size from a giant like Foxconn, well, that's a massive vote of confidence. This isn't just a small upgrade, it's a major capital injection to build more advanced products for some of the world's biggest tech companies.
And this money isn't just for making more of the same stuff. It's about strategic diversification into products that have a much higher value. I mean, we're talking about producing drones, Xbox gaming consoles, and advanced wearables. This really showcases a clear step up in technical capability. You know, it's not just about building the factories. It's about building the talent to actually run them. So Vietnam has this huge national goal for semiconductor engineers, and here you can see the immediate action taking place. Vitel isn't just waiting around to build a chip plant. It's already training the highly specialized engineers who are going to operate it. That's thinking ahead. And finally, let's look at the government's role in all of this. Because proactive policy is absolutely crucial for creating that stable, supportive regulatory environment where all this innovation can actually flourish.
So, check out this crucial piece of policy philosophy. Vietnam's first big AI law is built around this idea of managing for development. What does that mean? It means it's designed to enable growth, not just restrict it. It's a really forward-thinking approach that balances risk with tools like regulatory sandboxes to actually encourage experimentation.
Okay, now to really understand the impact of this next policy, you just have to appreciate this one number, 97%. That's the percentage of all businesses in Vietnam that are small and medium-sized enterprises. I mean, they're the absolute backbone of the economy. So their challenges, especially with legal and regulatory hurdles, become a national priority, right?
And this is the result of a policy designed specifically to help them. Over 1.1 million visits to the new national law portal in just its first 6 months. This platform, which is powered by an AI legal assistant, shows the massive immediate demand there is for accessible legal resources for all these businesses.
So,
To wrap it all up, the ecosystem is really advancing on all fronts. We're seeing ambitious startups getting that crucial international validation. We're seeing strategic industrial investment pour into high-tech capabilities, and we're seeing government policies that are designed to accelerate, not hinder, innovation.
So, as we've seen, this is a landscape in strategic motion. From ecotech and super apps to semiconductors and forward-thinking AI policy, all the essential pieces are moving into place. And this really leaves us with the critical question. With the engine accelerating this fast, where will Vietnam's next major breakthrough emerge?